Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 10 of Black Canvas Grappling. Now, of course, the beta has been extended. We get to play an extra month, so we do get March, and of course that means we will actually get through the Fighting Spirit tour, and of course the Fighting Spirit pay-per-view itself as well. So with that said, let's advance, and we'll get into our next tour date. And of course, we want to try and continue the whole storyline we got going with Bunraku and Tori and Big Bruiser Finley. We also need to find a #1 contender for Funakoshi. I'm not exactly too sure who I want to make that. I was thinking maybe Suki could do something and turn on Funakoshi. Anyway, if you do want to play TEW 2020, you can find the link for that where you can go and purchase the game down in the description below. It is an affiliation link, so it does help the channel. So I really would appreciate it if you used that link and decided to go and purchase TEW 2020. Anyway, let's do a little rib here. Let's rib Giant Brody, and unfortunately nothing is happening there on that front. Let's also go a generic venue in Kansai. And then let's start booking the show. Now, I think I do want to do that sort of, that storyline with Suki, but I'm just trying to think of how we could actually make that come to fruition. I guess they already would have a bit of animosity between each other. Let me do a singles match for the main event, and it is going to be Suki. And I think he can take on Kurosawa. Like, that's a pretty solid main event. And basically it's going to be a victory for Furusawa. And I think we're going to have a botched interference by Funakoshi. I think that's pretty much the only real way I can think of, you know, actually making their sort of impromptu tag team fall apart. And then Suki's obviously going to challenge, even though it doesn't really make sense that Furusawa is going to pick up the victory. Realistically, you would think he'd be the #1 contender. Interesting. We'll also add an angle after it as well, with both Funakoshi and Suki. And that can, of course, be a bit of a showdown in the ring. And of course, you know Suki's going to be pissed off. Because that is... Let's make that a #1 contenders match. So Furusawa going to become the #1 contender. Up next, we want to continue... one thing I want to look at... Can I go back to the... Go back to the office real quick, because I want to check medical. Tosha Sai is still out injured for 3 more days. Okay, that's fine. What we can do instead... I think we'll do a tag team match. And what we'll do is we'll have Giant Brody and Animal Haka. And I think they can take on Bunraku and Tori. And... well, he needs a partner. I kind of want someone in the mid-card. Alright, let's do it this way. Let's go well-known. See who's actually in here. Maybe just like Yoshizawa? Yeah, let's go Yoshizawa. And we'll only give it 12 minutes, but I think that's still kind of long enough anyway. And we'll have Haka be the loser of the match. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty good. So we'll book that one in there as well, but we'll chuck it a little bit further before. Now, I think we also need our technical masterclass. So let's go with James Diaz. He is kind of a bit of a fan favorite with you guys down in the comments below. because I did ask for a recommendation on who you think is the best young lion back in episode 9. And I think the front runners were James Diaz, and then it was also Yuta Osono. And I really like Osono. Anyway, let's go with Diaz, and I think he can take on... He can actually take on Funakoshi, because Funakoshi can do... Well, he can wrestle pretty well with his technical ability. Alright, so there's Technical Masterclass, non-title match as you'd expect. I think we want a... Let's go a 6-man. And we'll do a couple of tag teams with a couple of singles wrestlers as well. Let's have Team Taku. And I think they can actually take on the American Cobras. And then we'll throw maybe a young lion on each team. So let's go Yuta Osono for the Cobras. And then actually... let's not do Kisaka. Maybe Iki Hosaka, yeah. Oh, Taki's got an injury. Okay, well let's not do that either. Of course, we had that massive injury problem. We'll just change the team. Let's go with Yokokawa and Sen. Never mind, we can't do that either. Completely forgot about Yokokawa's injury. Pretty frustrating. Anyway, I guess Ipitsutsai and Okamasa. I know for a fact that they're not injured, so there we go. And we'll give Storm Spillane the victory. Doesn't really matter who loses, I'm not too worried about the other team. And that's actually going to be a pretty big victory there for Osono. Alright, continuing on, I think we'll go another tag match. And this time I think I want Naozan Goto. And we want him to maybe team up with someone as well. Maybe Sajuru Sen. Yeah, that can work. That can work. And I think they can take on Urigataya and who else? Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know who else. Maybe we actually just go with Hamasaka and Kiyotaka. And we'll have Goto get the victory there. I do really like Kamasaka and Kiyotaka, but they're going to be involved with the tag titles down the line as well. So we're not going to... I mean, they're losing to a champion, so it's not the worst result in the world. We also might need to make that 10 minutes because of Goto's stamina. And I think that one can go there. So I think we want this one here to steal the show. Because, I mean, realistically, that looks like a really good match. We've got our Technical Masterclass. We've got a solid main event. Let's also have an angle. So I want to have Big Bruiser Finley. And he's going to cut an angle onto Bunraku Tori. And that one's going to go, I guess, before the match. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Going before Import taking on Tori. Let's also do a pre-show tag match as well. Let's have Urigataya team up with maybe Shuga Amano, and they can take on Mitsukuri and Kinoshita. And of course, we'll give Urigataya the victory. I mean, it is only a pre-show Young Lions match, essentially. I need a road agent. Let's just go with Shiga. That's fine. Alright, looks pretty good. Let's start the show. Start off with a 50 for the pre-show. That's pretty random. Anyway, we have Urugatiya and Suga Amano defeating Mitsukuri and Kinoshita in 12:22 when Masashi Urugatiya pinned Koyo Kinoshita with a jumbo backdrop suplex. And yeah, just a really good rated pre-show match. But I kind of wasn't expecting a 50 on the pre-show. Anyway, we then go into a 58 to open the show, where we have Funakoshi defeating James Diaz in 14:38 by pinfall with a butterfly backbreaker. And of course, the match was a little too short, but that's to be expected, even though it was actually 15 minutes long. You know, Funakoshi is our major star, so they do want to see him a little bit longer. We then go into our 6-man tag, getting a 54 as well. I think the ratings might be better as we're on public beta number 15. I think they might have just changed the way that a few matches work, and obviously for our product that Black Canvas Grappling has, I think it's benefited from it. So yeah. Anyway, we then have Yuta Asono and the American Cobras defeating Iki Hisaka and Ipitsutsai and Okamasa in 12:20 when Storm Spillane submitted Hisaka with a kneeling Boston Crab. And yeah, just a really good match. Again, we've got a couple of young lions in there in Hisaka and Asono. And they get a 54, along with two established, pretty good tag teams. We then go into another 54, where we have Naozen Goto and Sujuru Sen defeating Kamisaka and Kiyotaka in 9:54, when Naozen Goto pinned Kanonamaru Kamisaka with a Goto Slam. And unfortunately, Goto was off his game. He only had a 40, whereas everyone else was pretty close, actually. You got Kiyotaka with a 51, Kamisaka with a 49, and then Sujuru Sen with a 48. But the ratings are much better. They seem a lot better anyway. We then go into a 46 rated Angle. Big Bruiser Finley, of course. Probably better to use him with Menace. But he also has pretty good entertainment stats as well. So I kind of want to try that out. Because if he can grow his entertainment stats, he might actually become, a bigger star in the company. Anyway, cutting a promo on Bunraku Kentori. Of course, he's not actually involved in the next match. But of course, his stable import, his two boys, Brody and Harker. Really good match, getting a 60 there. Where we have Bunraku Kentori and Inijiro. Yeah, we're just going to call him Yoshizawa. Defeated Giant Brody and Animal Harker in 11:58 when Bunraku Kentori pinned Animal Harker with a spinning forearm smash. And as you'd expect, Bunraku Kentori carrying the match. But a very solid rating for these two. Obviously, we know how good Yoshizawa and Tori are. Harker's pretty good, and Brody, obviously, is massive, but not the best in the ring. And then finally, we go into a 71 for the main event, where we have Mabuchi Furusawa defeating Suki in 21:39 by submission with a Furusawa armbar. And during the match, we also had Funakoshi accidentally hit Suki, costing him the #1 contendership. So yeah, Furusawa, we're not gonna advance yet because I do have plans. I just kind of decided as we were talking about it earlier and booking this match. And then the final angle on the show getting us a 55 where we have Funakoshi and Suki sort of coming to blows to end the tour show. And of course, potentially setting up a match between the two going forward as well. And what we're going to do is for Fighting Spirit, we are going to book a match. It's going to be a triple threat. This is kind of what I decided on the fly here. And it's going to be Funakoshi taking on Furusawa, taking on Suki. I think that's going to be a really good match. I don't want to give it 25. Let's give it 25 minutes and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be kind of expected who's going to win the match. And yeah, I mean, as good as the other boys do, they can't really get on the same page. And as such, somebody's going to retain their title. Alright, cool. Let's finish the show. And we get a 65. And that is with a penalty as well. A production value penalty. 65 for the overall show rating. Increasing our popularity in all 7 regions. I think in all 7 regions. How many regions are there in Japan? I'm pretty sure there's I think there might be 8 actually. Let's check that. There might be 7. There might be 7. Anyway, we've got an email here. Yoshinaka Taku, sorry. Yoshinaka Taku, fully fit. And then we also have Yokikawa returning from his injury as well. Alright. So yeah, let's check the size here for a second. Still at 53. We're up to 23. Which I think we already were at 23. Oh, actually, I think we just got to 23 from the last episode. So yeah, up to 23 there. And we're also up to 14s in the other, lower regions that we don't really get spillover for. And there is indeed 8 regions, so we didn't actually get a popularity increase there in Kansai, despite that 65 rated show. A little bit annoying, but, it is what it is. It is what it is. And, yeah, let's just keep advancing. And we'll get into that second show for the episode. I'm really happy to be playing this again, man. Like, when we finished the beta the first 2 months, and I thought that was it, then we're going to have to wait until the release, which is only like about less than a week away now. But when I finished it, it had about 8 or 9 days left from that last recording on episode 9. I was pretty sad. Obviously, I had another series coming out as well, which you should go and check out if you haven't seen it already. It is with Australian Pro Wrestling, APW. And obviously, I'm Australian, so it's quite a fun series. Not going to be too long term. Anyway, we also have TEW Toshasai fully fit. So he's come back, and we can actually use him for this next tour as well. Alright, so we've got a backstage incident involving, that's hopefully Wrestler's Court, yeah. Sotomura. And he's actually got a small positive impact with Furusawa taking him to Wrestler's Court there. Let's also try another cheeky little rib. Unfortunately, still not very effective. We'll go a generic venue again. The wrestling industry is rising, so I'm expecting our popularity increases to go up quite a bit. I'm just a little bit worried about the economy, but then again, we do have a pretty good amount of money. We've got over 500,000 in the bank. Not too bad. All right, so for the main event, I think we want to go with a singles match. And we're going to have Big Bruiser Finlay taking on TEW Toshasai. Now, that is a pretty big match. And of course, obviously, Toshasai in a tag team with Bunraku and Tori. So again, it's still continuing the storyline with Finlay. And unfortunately for Toshasai, it's going to take a loss here. Don't exactly want to do it too much, but there's going to be a bit of shenanigans going on. We're going to have an interference on Toshasai by Giant Brody. And then we're also going to have a distraction on Toshasai by Animal Haka. So, the finish is still decisive. It's a decisive pinfall victory. But obviously there's a bit of shenanigans throughout the match. It is a 22-minute match, so you'd have to kind of expect that. Alright, so I think after the match, we might do an angle here as well. And we're going to have Big Bruiser Finlay, Giant Brody, Animal Haka. I think we'll do Menace for all of them. And basically what's going to happen is they're going to be beating down on TEW Toshasai. And then we're going to have Bunraku and Tori come out, make the save for his tag team partner, as you'd sort of expect. And that'll end the show. I guess we can do... Let's actually type it in. Sometimes I like to do it just to make sure I remember what I'm doing. So let's have... So import attacks TEW post-match with Tori making the save. Alright, that looks pretty good. The rest of the matches, I think I want to have an actual match for the Cobras. They can take on the wild animals. That looks alright. 12 minutes. And we'll give Marvel Malloy the victory there. Hoping the Cobras don't get stolen away. I'm assuming that there's probably going to be a lot of interest in the US. Companies like TCW, SWF, and US Pro. Let's go a 6-man. We can actually do the Team Taku match that I wanted to do on the last episode, on the last tour show. And they can be partnered by... Actually, let's do it this way. And again, we'll use Blastocoma's stable as well. So they can be partnered by Kubo, and they will take on Blastocoma, Dynamite Narahashi, and Ginji Kasaka. Of course, the new Blast new stable Explosion. And of course, we'll give Dynamite Narahashi the victory. And we actually want to do another interference. Quite a bit of interference on this show, obviously. It's more just setting things up as opposed to really costing matches. So we're going to have an interference here onto Toshinobu Taku by... Where is he? Yeah, Yutaka Agata. And of course, he's now going to be joining the explosive stable as well. Nice. Alright, we also need a technical masterclass, so let's give... maybe Tori? Yeah, let's go Tori. And Tori can have his match against Isono. Have we actually done this match before? We have not. Alright, perfect. Obviously, Tori's going to get the win. It's going to be technical masterclass. And it's going to be pretty decisive as well. Then let's go with... Well, we need an angle for Blastocoma, where he can actually say what he wants to say. Where is he? There he is. And then we'll have them be joined by Agata. Yeah, that's perfect. And let's actually just title this Agata joins Explosive. Nice and easy, self-explanatory. I think we still need another match or two as well. Maybe we go for like a big Young Lions match. And let's have Miura and Yoshizawa, and they can be joined by Yokokawa and Sen. Not really working too well together, but they can take on Osaka, Diaz, Dreadnought, and let's go with Takanori Doi. And let's give the victory to Miura. All right, perfect. Just a bit of a throwaway match. Let's also make the Cobras match the steal the show, because they definitely have it in them. And there we go. I think we'll put the Young Lions match on second. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, let's also do one more tag match. And let's go with Kamisaka and Kiyotaka taking on Sotomura and Ozawa. And we'll just give Kamisaka the victory, just to get a bit of momentum back after losing on the last tour show. I think we can call the match as well. Actually, yeah, I think we can. I guess we'll find out. Alright, never mind. Kiyotaka cannot. Oopsies. So let's take that out, and we'll just script it. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's start the show. Starting off with a 49, where we have Kamisaka and Kiyotaka defeating Sotomura and Ozawa in 11:48, when Kamisaka pinned Sofu Ozawa with a stump pile driver. Yeah, pretty good match. I mean, Sotomura performed pretty well. Ozawa, I mean, with his age, you'd kind of expect him to be pretty bad at this point. Alright, we then start the show off with a 52 for our technical masterclass, where we have Bunraku Tori defeating Yuta Osono in 14:33 by pinfall with a flying forearm off the top rope. Only a 55. Not the greatest match from Bunraku Tori. Seemed off his game as well. We then go into a 47 for our 8-man tag, where we have Miura and Yoshizawa and Yokikawa and Sen defeating Iki Hisaka, James Diaz, Dreadnought, and Takanori Doi in 10:59. When Noritoshi, man, I really need to get back into pronouncing these names properly. Noritoshi Miura pinned James Diaz with a Storm Rider. Not a bad match. I mean, some of these guys, like Hisaka, like Dreadnought, they're pretty rough. Whereas you have other guys like Diaz getting a 38. Even Doi getting a 32 is pretty good. We then go into a 44 for the 6-man tag, where we have Explosive defeating Nobuyuki Kubo and Team Taku in 11:51, when Dynamite Narahashi pinned Kubo with a Narahashi cutter. And during the match, we also had Yutaka Agata run in and attack Taku Sr. A couple of people off their game. Both are young lions in this match, so Kisaka and Kubo both off their game. A little bit unfortunate. Anyway. We then move into the angle, which gets a 44 as well. And we have Agata joining Explosive, joining his tag team partner, Kisaka. So we now have 4 members in the Explosive stable. And of course, 2 young lions, along with a leader and a pretty good deputy in Dynamite Narahashi. We then go into a 55, which is a pretty good match. I thought it would do pretty well. We have the American Cobras defeating the Wild Animals in 11:53, when Marvel Malloy pinned Wild Red Stallion with a Cobra Strike. But unfortunately, we had 3 people off their game, 3 out of 4 in this match. We have Marvel, Storm, and Wild Red Stallion, all 3 off their game. So this match could have been a lot better had they actually been performing. But again, it was a steal the show, and they might have struggled to go all out. I know that probably would have been the case for Stallion. And then we go into the main event, getting a 59, where we have Big Bruiser Finley defeating Tanyu Toshisai in 22:26 by pinfall with an Atomic Spinebuster. During the match, we also saw Giant Brody run in and attack Toshisai, and Animal Haka also distract Toshisai. Yeah, both of them getting a 54, so I think a 59 is actually a pretty good rating for that match. Of course, we've got one more angle left to go, getting a 48, where we have Import attacking Tanyu Toshisai post-match, and we have Bunraku Tori running down and saving his tag team partner from an absolute beating. And of course, Big Bruiser Finley getting out of the ring, and Tori, kind of going at it with Parker and Brody. All right, let's finish the show. This one's not as impressive, only getting a 55, but still increasing our popularity in all 7 regions apart from Kansai. That's not too bad either. I mean, as long as we keep improving everywhere else in Japan, I think we'll be on the right path. We'll be hopefully getting more money from sponsors, and hopefully we'll eventually start getting some money from broadcasting. All right, so it looks like at the moment we're making about, well, so far we're making about 16,500, which is, it's not too bad, not too bad. Alrighty, well, I think that's going to pretty much do us. We've got a decision here, pay rise request from Marvel Malloy. We'll give him a 75% increase. Pretty much $250. It's a big increase. But at the same time, he was actually only being paid like 30 per show or something. And I think Storm already asked for his pay rise in a previous episode. Anyway, that's going to wrap us up. If you could smash a like, it'd be much appreciated, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're a new viewer. Or if you've been a viewer for a while but haven't taken the plunge and subscribed, make sure you do that. Turn on the notification bell as well. We're up to about 8.1% of all my subscribers having the notification bell turned on. So make sure you do that. You'll be notified. One of these will be in your notification box pretty much every day. So make sure you check that out and have that bell turned on. Apart from that, as always, take it easy and goodbye.